there wants to make sure that they can solidify that 5th spot so that he can get into the next split and definitely show that he can improve as a top lane and make sure that he's the best here in Oceania.
Yeah, for sure. At the very least, avoid the relegations that will be creeping up. If they can find that victory, they completely secure their place. There's no need for the tiebreaker from Sin. As Paistra mentioned, there is going to be a tiebreaker irrespective, but which team it is going to be is very important.
Yeah, well, this is the thing. It can go either way depending on who takes the victory here. And we do have a graphic just to show exactly what could potentially happen. So if Sin managed to win, they secure the 5th place. It means that we are then going to have a tiebreaker between the Direwolves and Avant, because Avant managed to win their first game against Sudden Fear. So then it's that 3rd place that's up for grabs, potentially avoiding the Chiefs as we head into the playoffs.
Yeah, and that's the very important point that you just made, is the fact that they do avoid the Chiefs. It just seemed, as you saw in the last game, of course, they are undefeated in this split. If anything, you want to go against the second side who have shown weaknesses and actually take them out, maybe make it to the finals themselves, or at least avoid the difficult semi-final of the Chiefs. So the ideal goal for the Direwolves is to win to secure their place, but Sin looking to secure 5th, outright avoiding a tiebreaker could force the Direwolves into a very awkward predicament.
Yeah, the final point on Sin as well, wanting to prove themselves, of course, before they head into the relegation series is definitely a good point, because getting momentum, making sure that you can hold on to that spot is a real big deal heading into those relegation matches, because they can be grueling.
Yes, in a very emotional side, a little bit akin to Legacy in that respect, is that if they go on the back of maybe a really big loss streak, relegation could be very difficult for them. If they can find a victory here, they might be able to find their footing as a team again, really take hold as a team and improve, as Rosie was mentioning, and just get some more games together.
Yeah, and we are into Champion Select, ladies and gentlemen. Kalista going to be banned away. First up here is Sin. Take that one off the board. Not going to have King playing that because he's actually in this game. No chippies this time around, and it is going to be King. The full lineup of the Direwolves here to play it out against Sin.
And what better time to actually have King back? Of course, a very important game for them. The Kalista being banned from King. No surprise that a Kalista's banned, but still, his Kalista is gross.
It is outstanding. That guy just hopping around the battlefield, getting things done. It is going to be Ryze banned away, of course. The red side of the Rift generally needing to get rid of that Ryze, and of course the Ezreal that is just gone up to such sort of high priority just recently based on that interesting Runeglaive build. But Azir going to hit the bench as Perfection is going to get targeted with that, and as well as the Kassadin, and Civ are going to be taken off here as well. So Direwolves don't want to see that engage potential.
Yes, the Kassadin and Azir are the ones hitting the bench. It does leave open Twisted Fate for Perfection. Keep that in mind. They didn't have the first pick. We have seen that gone away, but it's up now.
Yeah, but wasting no time, Rosie going to lock away the Fizz. No questions asked, just putting it straight into his back pocket. We'll see whether they can make things work on that champion, or whether Perfection's going to flex that one into the mid lane. Could even be a jungle. We have no idea.
That's right. It could be the flex pick for that mid lane. We don't really know what he's going to do with it just yet, because it is, of course, only the first pick. In saying that, Rosie's starting to step up a little bit more lately, play those carry-oriented top laners. Fizz could suit that quite well.
Yeah, it's a very good point. Sybil is going to lock away the Rek'Sai, though they pick up the Alistair there in the bottom lane. So a lot of engage potential and tons of knockups now coming through here for the Direwolves.
Yeah, one of the common bouncy castle type of team comps already from Direwolves. 2 of the members, exactly what they need. Of course, uncleansable. It's just very difficult to hit against Rosie on the Fizz in particular if he is taking that Fizz. But the front line from Direwolves, aside from the knockup CC that they have, is very big at the moment. They're just looking to round it out even further with damage already.
Yeah, and Stealthic's now going to lock away that Corki there as well. Janna going to be in the bottom side of the map. So interesting sort of combination there as far as the Corki Janna is concerned, but they give nothing away from their team comp by picking up their bottom lane at this stage. Still an opportunity to grab a couple of solo laners if they want to put that Fizz into the jungle. They've got lots of options over the side of Sin, and we'll see what Direwolves decide to bring into their roster and make sure that things can stay flexible.
Yeah, so the Janna Corki have been locked in here, and that's a very good bot lane in terms of direct trading. Corki is very good independent in terms of burst trading. Janna only augments that further by buffing it even more. So in terms of direct trades, a Janna Corki lane is near unrivaled, besides maybe a Kalista Bard, Kalista Thresh style. But with Kalista off the board, Graves is also a pretty good burst option to maybe match it.
Yeah, I was looking over here, and King is actually going to lock away that Grave. So an interesting pickup. Sharp back on the Shen as well. Has played that one before, so double globals coming through here for the Direwolves, not to mention the teleport that's going to be on the side of Shen. We've spoken about that before, but there's the Twisted Fate. Rymeister going to pick that one away from Perfection. No last pick TF to come through this time around, and Gragas, pretty standard pick there for Juves in the mid lane, but I mean, in the jungle. I say mid lane, because Juve spends a lot of time there and now going to have a lot of early game pressure on that Gragas.
Yeah, the mid-jungle player essentially does have the Gragas, has the early pressure to bolster the mid lane again. Level 2 ganks just seems to be his forte. Try and get Rymeister going, who has the Twisted Fate now, can hit that gold card immediately and just make that body slam that little bit easier to connect. So a very strong mid-jungle duo, and a completed team comp presents a very good skirmish pick-based comp.
Yeah, but over the side of the Direwolves, we do have Victor locked away, so Perfection taking even more line wave clear into this matchup. So TF, going to be a little bit more difficult for him to move out of that lane, but as far as the team comp, Rusty, what are they trying to achieve?
So Direwolves have a lot of front line, they have a lot of low range, but they are opting more for straight burst behind that low range. They don't have much consistent damage. I guess Victor does start to really fit that trend, but of course, coupled with the Graves, they're looking to instantly kill people and then carry out a team fight through that strength that they have. So in saying that, they are looking to run forwards, they're looking to run fast, and they're looking to kill everyone that gets in the way of those two carries.
Yeah, well, they're going to definitely try to as well. But over the side of Sin, they've got that 3-threat comp. Is that going to help them out here, or could it be a detriment not having that extra tanky member and having this Fizz sort of running rampant trying to kill people?
So it's nice that they have the Gragas and the Fizz as well. The Fizz giving an assassination option, may be able to put it on what is very low range of the mid and the AD carry. It can get onto them quite easily, in fact, and outplay the Alistar knockups, the Rek'Sai knockups, and get into the backline quite easily. In saying that, the Gragas also very good for disengage if things go wrong. And being low range champions again, the explosive cask is a bit easier to connect to knock the carries into your team opposed to just knocking them away.
Yeah, I also really like Twisted Fate in this comp as well because they've got a lot of follow-up damage in either lane that Rymeister is going to go to. But, of course, you can see on your screens the team comps there, ladies and gentlemen. If you think the Direwolves are going to take this game, use that hashtag DWin. Or if you think that Sin are going to be able to take this one away and cause that third-place playoff game after this to break that tie, make sure you use the hashtag SinWin for the fantastic rhyme and, of course, to solidify your cheering for those champions.
Yes, so something I wanted to point out right now is the fact that they did pick Twisted Fate on the side of Sin. It seems to me as though, irrespective of how it's going to play with the team comp, it felt like for the most part they were denying the Twisted Fate Shen combo. So they got that one completely out of the possibilities here because they went Grave Shen in the second rotation. The answer was Twisted Fate to deny that, and now it's going to deny that possibility, but Shen is also known as a very good pick into the Twisted Fate to deny any of the ganks that he's going to do. So perhaps looking to focus the top lane Rymeister with that Fizz, with the assassination potential between them, and really make Shen hurt so that he can't ultimate someone to save them. He's the one being killed.
Yeah, it's very similar to exactly what happened last time the Direwolves played. Of course, they played against Absolute. Absolute picked away that Twisted Fate very, very early on, but the Shen, it was always there, sharp, able to get on top of whichever champion they were going after, and it just wasn't able to work. The Destinies weren't really happening there for mid-beast, and it just meant the Direwolves ran away with the game.
Yeah, and of course, having that extra shield for Victor and Graves, who are going to be in the fray quite prevalently, able to help them a little bit more and sustain through fights. It's going to be very good in terms of Sharp's playstyle and the way that the Direwolves work also, in that their focal point does lie around that mid lane and that AD carry. So being able to support them as much as possible is essentially the goal of this Direwolves team. Their team comp reflects that ideally.
Well, as far as the early game is concerned, I mean, I'm looking at this bottom lane. We haven't seen a lot of Graves just recently. How is he going to do into the Corki matchup?
So it matches the burst, but there's the Janus shield. So a lot of the Graves Alistar lane is going to be all in, trying to out-trade the Janus shield and the Corki burst by just going at them instead of trying to just make an even trade. It's very all or nothing style, but that's King's style in a nutshell, all or nothing. So you have a look at the Corki and the Janna. They're looking to make burst trades, but not unfavorable ones. It's going to come down to execution a lot in this bottom lane, but when you look at execution, it's mostly on the Alistar and then mostly on the Corki.
Well, we'll see if the Corki can make it happen. Of course, Stealthix, there a lot of pressure on him, but Corki has been definitely a very successful champion here in the OPL. Only a couple of losses suffered very, very recently. Before that, about 8-0 was that record for the champion. Really, really powerful performance. So we'll see whether the Corki is going to stand true here, whether Sin can make that happen, or whether it's going to be the other way around.
Yeah, definitely. If the Corki can get ahead in lane, Graves tends to suffer. So look to that bot lane to see a real power point for Sin.
Well, we'll see whether it happens, but we are going to throw it back to the casters and see whether Pastry Time and Spawn can take us into this game.
Thank you very much. We are into our now second last game of the evening. It's just simply a matter of what's our last game going to be. We will play at least, well, actually, we'll only play one tiebreaker, thankfully, but a big game for both teams. Direwolves to secure third and Sin to secure fifth.
Yeah, exactly right. Pressure on Sin and Direwolves right now. Very execution-heavy team coming out of both. You know, they have the disengaged support on the side of Sin. Make sure that Janna really is peeling, whilst Rosie and the Twist of Fate able to assault that backline, try and open up the map. But then you look over at the raw power out of Victor Graves. The burst damage out of Direwolves is going to be ridiculously high. First time perfection has been on the Victor. We'll have to see whether he's able to make it work, because we just saw no one wants to go up against the Chiefs. You know, this split, Direwolves have struggled against Legacy, but historically, they've done a fine job against them.
They have, and, you know, like you said, that fourth spot, pretty much, you know, not just fourth place, finishing in playoffs. You're already locked in the playoff teams. It's, you know, the Chiefs slot, effectively. Nobody wants to play, like you said, against that first place seed. Nice to see King back in the lineup as well. The beast has been reawoken here, back on a Graves, which is just very King-style champion.
Yeah, it certainly is. You know, we've complimented him, and we said that Chuffer leaving would have hurt him. I think they found the perfect support replacement in Nada in that bottom lane. Alistair Graves, it's an very historically good bottom lane coming through there with a lot of burst damage. You know, they might just outright try and kill Trashboat over and over again.
They will outright try and kill Trashboat. If Nada has inherited any of Chuffer's qualities or learnt anything from King, it is all that aggression down to the Ignite in the bottom lane. But we'll see how the Dials will do. AD carry back in the lineup here in clutch time is a pretty key place to bring him back. But like you said, execution heavy for both sides, and I love the Sin comp. But it is complex to pull off, to say the least.
Yeah, it certainly is. And, you know, you have to say that a good split pusher in the top lane, Rosie, going to amp up a lot earlier than Sharp. Want to see whether he goes AP or AD Fizz, because, you know, with Runeglaive being an item possibility, Smite only made Fizz stronger right now. He can go into a very cheap 30% CDR build with Runes, Boots, and the Runeglaive, and then into something like Azonia's Hourglass for a lot of damage in the mid game with the survivability.
Yeah, and I guess the other older build now with the Smite is, you know, just Cinderhawk. Go Frozen Heart, go Spirit Visage, get your 40% CDR, and just get going from there.
Yeah, we'll see whether he wants to play the more Bruiser or Assassin role. I look historically on Rosie when he had a lot of support, and it is even a success in the support role. It's kind of playing these niche people that he can delete someone with. You know, his Zyra was very good, and we'll see whether he's able to replicate some of these old feats. As he said, he's played in a heap of huge games. But this one this season is pretty important.
Yeah, certainly the biggest game for his team right now. And there are some newer players on the lineup as well. Rymeister, first big OPL split. He's performed well to start with, but has to come up clutch. And we've seen many, many games where he has gone big. And he's against Perfection, with no slouch in the mid lane either.
Yeah, exactly right. So we're going to see whether they can make it work. Nada and King taking away a Gromp. You see the assist in the bottom lane coming through right now.
So that's Drew's going to take Krugs into red. And of course, Dial starting on the same side of the jungle, Sybil, like you mentioned. Gromp, oh, never mind. He's actually on the top side on the Krugs. That means that Gromp does go to the Dial's dual lane.
Yeah, so they split the experience as well. Not going to give it over to Nada and allow him to zone. So no fast push coming through from StealthX means that they're going to hit level 2 quite quickly.
Yeah. Relic Shield there from Nada as well.
Oh.
Keeping it a little better as far as early wave clear goes. And you know whose life I fear for right now?
Trashboat.
It's Trashboats.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Level 1 Janna versus level 2 All-In and Ignite. That's bad news, Bears. Oh, Nada going in. StealthX going to eat the buckshot right to the face. And they've ignited him. They're just going down. They want the kill. They can't quite follow in, but that's a great All-In.
Yeah, Trashboat actually uses his health as a resource here and trades back fairly effectively against King. You know, he got him to use the potion at least. StealthX is chucking his, by the way. It's out, and he's in a lot of danger.
Yeah, I mean, they can just go back in again. Still level 1 if Nada wants to go super deep for the aggression. We do have a pause in this game, so we have to wait a little bit longer to find out.
Yeah, fireworks early on, though, you have to say, with StealthX falling quite low. You could just see it coming from a mile away. However, you know, lucky it was StealthX with all that additional health from the Rand's Blade, because you have to think if that was Janna, she's dead.
Yeah, Trashboat absolutely dead. So right now, level 1, keeping it okay in the bottom side, and nice to see the coordination. I guess the thing we don't know yet, we've seen King play with Chippies as their support, that sub player, and King was playing very selfishly, but very well, really trying to carry his team. We saw Nada in his new spot looking good, sort of back to old form from 2014. But he was playing with Chippies, who was the sub-AD carry now, has moved different routes around
honestly,
the bottom lane.
in that regard, you have to play the team played very selflessly. They gave so many resources over to Chippies, especially the Civ game. You go watch that. They are bouncing waves, freezing, and letting the Jinx soak up all that experience. So in both cases, they treated Chippies like he was a king, able to get him all that farm so he could carry throughout the mid game. And with equal farm, as good a player as Chippies is, I think he's one of the better top laners that hasn't been picked up so far. He is no king in the AD carry position.
No, not at all. And Chippy's an admirable job there substituting in, I think, 3 different roles overall for Dials, just this split alone. But King's just such a great player. And that's the question. How good are King and Nada? Because King and Shuffer could compete for the title of best bottom lane, I think, in Split 1, but we know barely anything about this bottom lane.
Split 1, I don't even know if there was a competition. They were by far and away, as the split progressed at least, definitely the top team. Super Flash Bros down there were impressive as heck to watch, and they had this split map danger where you didn't want to let Perfection out of control, but then King would just take over games, and Perfection is such a gank magnet, and we keep saying, they nearly hurt themselves by putting their 2 threats closer together, because right now, Duke just bounces between them.
Getting betrayed by geography as Sybil gets a nice on borrow. Rosie, though, going to fight back. Might actually just 1v1 the jungler, but Rek'Sai does do reasonable damage. Rosie will back away.
Yeah, so Rosie going to get out, but Juves now with a very real kill potential.
Oh, sees it. Body slam flash comes in. That's going to force the flash.
Yeah, in the end, not able to get it. We'll see whether they do go through for a turret dive. Rosie is a kind of player that would take it.
Yeah, might be calling it right now. You can see Sybil backing away towards his tier 2 turret, knowing the threat is there. Juves looks for him, just sees that he's gone. They had a ward there as well. Instead, just going to settle with some Krugs.
Yeah, and Sybil with a very cheeky wall over the side of it, going to spot them out. They'll wait for the big wave to come through, although Juve's taking a lot of damage. I don't think he should have done that camp.
Oh, he's going to take it away. Probably not going for the dive at this rate, just going to settle for the camp. Would be very surprised if that was his choice.
Yeah, he took so much damage from that. Rosie did a good job of stacking the wave, but in the end, all of that's going to be eaten by Sharp, and they're going to back off.
Ooh, Stealthix falls back in the bottom side, though. Not how Sin wanted to start this duo lane.
Yeah, no, it certainly isn't. And, we've seen King. It was his Caitlyn performance with Chippies as support, where he was playing the Alistar, and he went completely off. I think he was 80 CS up at the 20-minute mark, had a really impressive performance. On a lane bully like the Graves, look for him to do something similar.
Yeah, this was a classic champion for King and split #1 as Sybil going to get his way into the Sin jungle and take away the Raptor camp for himself.
Still hasn't taken his blue buff. Perfection right now is like, can you please take your blue buff so I can get the second
Might
one?
just give him the first blue buff, to be honest, at this rate.
Yeah, do his best Tubes impersonation, give the first blue buff over to your mid laner.
Yeah, I mean, pinging it, I think that might be a possibility. Perfection a little low right now in the mid lane. Tube's going to clear out some tunnels, though, and maybe take the Scuttle Crab away. But Sybil's not finishing that blue. Nada's actually walked up to it. I think he's realized that they might be looking to take it. Crazy to think they know that it's up, but good intuition there from Sin as Nada forces Tubes off the Scuttle Crab.
Yeah, I think Nada was also looking to see if Ryan Meister was in a position to, I guess, go aggressive on Perfection. So they're giving a little bit more support into Perfection right now. They've sent 3 members around his lane, and Rye has no choice but to back off.
Yeah, Nada clearing out the pink cord. Sybil's in the area as well. Too many people spotted off. Sybil going to walk past the ward. Now going to walk over as he goes in over the little brush.
Has an auto attack reset. Oh, it doesn't get it.
Oh, disappointed. Knows it's there at least, so has some extra knowledge. We'll take the Scotto Crab instead that Drews was trying to take away. We haven't seen much of the mid lane, but Perfection's gotten really low in that 1v1.
Yeah, he has. Rye doing a fantastic job. And, you know, when I look at Sin this year, I kind of think that they had a similar trajectory to Direwolves. Direwolves finished a little bit stronger, but Sin definitely started for, I guess, rookie team into the split in similar fashion. And you have to think that these guys are just as dangerous as their counterparts right now. They have a terrific mid laner. Stealthix is only getting better as an AD carry, as Rosie said. And, you know, they've got some experience in the top lane and support position, so they should be able to play out these big games. People don't remember, but Trashboat was a mid laner on a finalist team in PAX 2013.
Yep, that was a long time ago. And now a support player. That's been his real main role, I think, for the last few years. But you're right, there's plenty of experience here on the team. Old man Trashboat leading him to charge with some help from the veteran Rosie. And Sin, can they come up clutch here? You said they're a new team. They've looked good. They'd love to look good again next year.
Yeah, they certainly would. And, you know, it's one of those teams that you kind of think that the sky's really the limit because they do have so much raw talent. It is about the teamwork aspect that is missing right now, and, you know, they're aware of that and working on it. But Direwolves, they're the real deal right now. You know, Sharp only getting better in the top lane. I think that in the recent weeks, he's shown that he really does have what it takes, and he's justified the faith the team had in him in staying up there in the top lane. And with Sybil on the roster after Soul Strikes, has been able to integrate very well into the gank-heavy jungle style.
Completely agree. I think the Dials have rebuilt very well given all the turmoil they went through this split, and both Sharp and Perfection have really showed up for me. Sharp showing that he can play the lane, he's learning the role, that he is a good player, and the Perfection's champion pool is a lot bigger than we thought it was.
Yeah, it certainly is. You know, I think that teams really thought that was going to be the weakness behind Direwolves. We saw time and time again 3 bans chucked Perfection's way, but he has been able to answer with maybe some out-of-the-box picks. He kind of brought Vladimir back in, and Kenzie really appreciated that helping hand, but has definitely looked good.
Yeah, and King now back on a classic again, and Graves on the bottom side. 10 CS ahead still of Stealthic, so not destroying them just yet, but looking to stack the wave up and take whatever opportunity comes. Level 6 is not far away.
Yeah, they're building up that wave to get the level 6. There it is for King.
Nada has to be close as well. Doesn't strictly need it, but it would be nice, especially, yeah, you can see Stealthic's in Trash Boat like, definitely don't want anything to do with this.
Yeah, but they didn't lose any experience from backing away, so really good call coming out of the bottom lane, and now Trash Boat trying to hold the wave.
Yep, going to hold it relatively successfully. Last 2 hits will go there for Stealthix as Nada goes in. King's just going to follow through, doesn't pull the trigger on the ulti.
I'm really surprised he didn't ult there. That would have forced Trash Boat to actually ult as soon as he gets his the cooldown, the Monsoon, just for the health coming through. I'm expecting him to be quite liberal with trying to keep Stealthix in lane.
This is not a secret, but I think the Dials want to kill. That's the only reason I can think to hold the ultimate. We talked about Trash Boat having a big target on his forward in the bottom lane here.
With Ignite in the ultimate, they would have nearly killed Trash Boat.
I think they want to make sure they actually kill Trash Boat, but we'll see what happens. Trash Boat's still level 5. Stealthix clearing out creeps where he can. It feels like it's just a summon spell away, but there are 4 summoners in the bottom
time
lane.
Bomb really in the bottom lane right now for the Direwolves. And as we said, Nada was aggressive with Veritas, who, you know, was a calculated AD carry, you have to say, has shown that since going across the final 5. But King, his calculation is how close is this person to death?
Yeah, and how many seconds until my flash comes back up? I need to use it again. As King is going to stay a bit more controlled. Nada, Sybil, and King will all team up for this Dragon, but Dragon number 1, as a result, will go to the Direwolves.
Yeah, so in the end, they're going to pick up the first objective of the game. They also have a slight gold lead just through some good CSing in all lanes, actually. You know, everyone slightly ahead, and have to see how it continues to evolve.
Yeah, looking good so far. Rosie going to take away the creeps in the top side as they hit the tower there. Barmy Cinder helping Sharp out quite nicely here in the top side, and don't know too much about Rosie's build right now. Just a Doran's Blade, not giving anything away. Although maybe that Ruby Crystal.
Yeah, so you assume that is going to be the Cinderhole coming through there. Have to continue to monitor and see how he goes. Of course, a couple of other regions are starting to pick up a little bit on AP top fizz, but not too much success so far coming through. And Sin, they've got some good one-item power spikes. They have the Lich Bane, they have Trinity Force as well as the Cinderhulk. So, you know, there's no rush on their composition. They also scale relatively well coming through here, but you do have to be careful around people like King, who's just got that big potential. If you do get a crit on the quick draw in, just so much burst going to come out of him and Victor together.
Yeah, that extra. Yeah, absolutely. Corky. We saw Rady do it last game, plenty of damage, but I want to highlight Rymaster's build right now. He's got the blue buff, he's got his Shane, he's got some cooldown boots actually, which we've seen a bit of, but those are super quick distortion upgrades.
Yeah, they certainly are. So he wants to be able to get around with his Ghost a little bit quicker and also have his Flash available to start up those team fights. That says to me that he's going for a very early Zhonya's Hourglass as well. I would be surprised if he didn't grab that next item.
Yep. I think so as well. In fact, right now, I think he's looking for a lane to gank. Victor is absent. Perfection will rejoin the lane. Got 1 upgrade for the Hex Core, and I need to see Large Rod. So a bit of a different build. No early region coming through for Perfection.
Yeah, we'll have to see whether he's able to make it work or keep his mana pool topped up. Looks like he's expecting blue buffs. As there's no really... Oh.
Whoa, Sharp. 1v1. I mean, Sybil was coming, but Rosie was just too low there.
Yeah, exactly right. Not able to make it work. And
oh now Rymaster in trouble. Sharp comes down with a Stand United. Now the Destiny's going to land for a bit of vision. Sharp gets the Tornado to Jubes. They'll get the knock-up. Perfection. Going to claim kill number 2.
And back-to-back play coming out of Sharp. We've complimented him already.
Oh, Trash Boat in the bottom side was in fact in peril. They all in. They don't quite finish the kill. Nada threatening, very threatening on the cow.
Yeah, certainly is. But in the end, a very good trade back coming through. Stealthix actually wins that one out with just a phage. Although now Sybil's down here looking for a gank.
Yeah, ruining the party. There are flashes up for quite a few people, but no other defensive summoners back. They're going to push the lane in. Kings need to hurry up about it a bit.
Perfection's coming down as well.
Yeah, it's a party in the bottom side here. And Sin are not fans at all. Sybil going to come in. They actually set up the teleport as well.
Rosie's also here. That's a very far
hard
way.
Committing for the dive. Trash Boat gets Bouncy Castle to death, and King swoops in for the double.
Yeah, Rosie ported to a ward in River and wasn't able to get there in time. In the end, Direwolf's able to make that one work, get the double kill, take out the turret, and all of a sudden, after a really close early game, it's 3,000 gold in favor of Direwolves.
Yeah, and that's 3 plays in 3 lanes for the Direwolves. Nets them 4 kills, a turret in bottom lane, and a whole host of advantages as Rosie is tracking Perfection in the mid lane.
Yeah, he might get him here.
Lines it up, lands the fish. Perfection now knows what's happening, does get knocked up. Rosie, good damage there, just as the challenging smite gets the 1v1.
Yeah, so in the end, he's able to turn it. Maybe they can look for more.
Jube's coming as well. Sharp's now forced down. He just walked to the mid lane to fend off Rymeister, who's done a good amount of damage to the mid lane turret. Couldn't finish it though. Twist of Fate used that Destiny earlier in that little scuffle. Really smart of the Dials to gank mid first before bottom.
Yeah, 100% agreeing. You know, they got the maximum out of it. They were able to take down the turret as well as pick up the double kill. Rosie, I guess, hits back as best as he can with a kill, but wasn't able to make it down there for the fight itself. And King, now he's swapped lanes, looking to see if he can get work done on the turret.
Yeah, he's almost 30 CS ahead as well. Has his Infinity Edge completed also. Rosie, relatively healthy right now as far as item build goes. Does have, again, the Skirmisher Saber Cinderhulk ready. And King's actually going to give up. Not going to push any further with not enough vision.
Rosie has a lot of kill potential. He's got the challenging smite coming through there. Has a lot of raw damage coming out of the W to be able to, I guess, solo out King in a team fight. So King doing the right thing, backing away, waiting for Nada to come up as support.
And like you said earlier, Spawn, power spikes are coming relatively fast here for Sin. Rosie in a good spot will get better from here. Lichbane almost through for Rymeister's got the 2 components now. And that Trinity Force well on the way here for Stealthix. Sin will get to a mid-game point where their power will explode.
Yeah, exactly right. They've got really efficient builds coming out there. It means that they drop off a little bit quicker, you do have to say, when you compare them, I guess, to the likes of a Shen or the likes of maybe Perfection in the mid lane. But for right now, you know, with the position they're in, they can still go relatively well.
And the nice thing is, you get that early game power and you make it work, or the mid-game power in this case. Yeah. Twist of Fate going to come down as well. King will get stunned off, but a Stand United lands in now as well. Nada moving Juice back, but he gets the ulti down. Good displacement of Rosie to keep him out, and they want Rymeister. That's the target they're chasing, and Nada forced to ulti out of that stun. Nobody dead with 6 people in the top
And
lane.
all of a sudden, there is another 2 heading up. Trash Boat is also here. Good ward to spot out the vision, but they're going to go for it anyway. No, they back away.
Yeah, Nada no ulti. Little dicey potentially, as Stealthix actually just going to get the turret in the bottom lane. When all said and done, he'll get the tower. That's 1 apiece now, but the Direwolves might have enough pressure to take the top outer as well, and Perfection will steal away the blue buff.
Yeah, so all of a sudden, now they're going to decide to dive, but not going to get it there in time. So turret traded for turret. In the end, probably the best that Sin could have hoped for after using 2 of their important cooldowns to no available. 3, actually, with Juves' ultimate. And credit right now to how well Direwolves are playing the map.
Yeah, they're doing well here, and Rymeister couldn't make it back in time to the mid lane to take out that turret. Perfection there to gatekeeper that one. Rymeister looking to go back. Likely has enough gold for that Lichbane right now. Trinity Force also completed for Corki, so the Sin power is coming online now. But Rymeister has to go back. He's low on mana, needs to spend his gold. And the Dials
back up.
Yep, you have to think they're going to go Dragon into mid lane.
Yeah, definitely think that is going to be the case right there. They don't have Nada's ultimate. That's what they need to be able to dive the turret. Rosie doesn't have teleport, so Dragon should be relatively free right now, but they don't want to move into position. Still want to defend their turret.
Nada going to clear out the ward. Trash Boat.
Aggro's a Dragon.
Yep.
Oh,
Damage. Oof. Dragon hurts, man.
He does, and he attacks really slow, but he got a 3rd one off.
He's angry. Nada, though, gets out, managed to clear the ward. Trash Boat probably looking to reapply it, but I believe he's out of Sightstone charges. So going to be tricky to do that. And Sybil finds a pink ward that he takes away. It's Trash Boat Nada having a support off.
Yeah, they're having a little bit of a battle right now.
Oh, Rima just caught Sybil. Doesn't pull the trigger on the ultimate. Might get a stun here. Does flash for it. Goes for Sybil. Really nice kill. Fish landed as well, but it's Stealthix that claims it.
Yeah, maybe a little bit of an overkill there. Rosie lands the fish. That's an important cooldown for this next fight. But they have 20 seconds without the jungler on the map. See whether they can take the dragon.
Sharp also can't make it down right now. So if they time the teleports and the ultimate well, Don't know Sharp is trapped there. King gets caught as well. Rhymeister might just ulti. He's going to go on top of Stealth. The King, sorry. Now going to find him. Drews and Trashboat will chase in. And Rhymeister, good scrying orb there, does take him out.
Yeah, so in the end, they're able to pick up the kill. A little bit of damage was returned because of a missed body slam there by Juice. But fantastic idea. And the execution in the end does work out. Sin going to be able to pick up the Dragon. Might lose mid lane turret, but 2 kills for nothing. Definitely a good start.
Yeah, 2 kills are important. Going to stop the bleeding on the Dragons as well. Now equalize that up, and Stealthix and Trashboat make it in time to defend the mid lane turret. It's honestly at this stage the top lane turret that they have to worry about, but Shen does not do this quickly.
Yeah, no, he certainly doesn't. It is more of a slow and steady wins the race. Shen likes to remind people that Rome was not built in a day.
No.
So, you know, you've got to be patient with him in these split-pushing endeavors.
And we saw the Trinity Force from Minky. A little far away from that is Sharp if he really wants to commit to the split push power.
Yeah, it definitely is. Looks like he's going Spirit Visage into, I guess, the Sunfire Cape coming through there. So a little bit more defensive focus coming through. And Rosie has gone with a Phage, so looking to definitely amp up during the mid-game.
I assume that's Trinity Force. There's not a Riot Zinc with the Stand United. That's going to be enough for the Dives to secure a turret. A couple of ultis used, they're going aggressive, but a turret's a turret, they'll take it.
Yeah, they get the objective in the end. Now pinging out Rosie for a rotation into that lane. Need to be careful, though, because I think that Sin have seen this one coming, although Rosie's still overextended.
There is a ward there. Wolf Spirit betraying them as well, potentially? Don't think so. Rosie does get crit, though. King actually doing nice damage with the Zeal across the Infinity Edge. The Rymos is here to clean out the mid lane. Does have his Lich Bane now.
Yeah, so he's able to get some good damage done to these creeps, and Sybil waiting in the wind. But once again, King by himself actually has Sharp. This is dangerous.
Good ulti there from... Oh, great taunt, though, from Sharp. Going to stop Rhymaster from coming in, but now Rosie going to look for the fish. Waits for Sharp to flash. Now goes in on him, but he wants King. That's the important target. He misses the fish, but he might zone them away from it. Dives on the King, but he pops the heal. Gravity Field locks him up in a choke, and Drews just getting destroyed there, gets taken away.
Yeah, and in the end, just a little bit too much raw power coming through from the Direwolves. They were able to get them in a choke point, and that's just Victor's heaven right there with the Chaos Storm, with the laser going through that pass. And in the end, Sin overextended, not able to get anything.
Yeah, all the aggressive movement leads him to a couple hits on this turret. Actually, no. Barely a scratch as Sin move in time to make sure it stays up. The Dials, you can see, about 4,000 gold ahead in this game. But Sin definitely fighting back here, not losing too much ground.
And you can see exactly what Rosie was talking about. They know when they're stronger. They know when they hit their iron spikes. It's just a little bit of execution when they do so that's holding them back. The choke is what saved that team fight right there for Direwolves, because no one could get through to join Gragas, and it just meant that King was hitting on the back freely. Perfection was able to get down multiple spell rotations, but the idea is definitely there. They're trying to get the picks they need with the Fizz, with the TF ultimate.
Yeah, they're going to get a tower now as well. That's good gold coming in as Rymeister with his Lich Bane able to clear that one out. Sin are stronger. Again, they've got the mid-game items. Rosie's working on something massive. I have to assume Trinity Force, maybe Black Cleaver for some CDR, but we'll see where he wants to go with that. Perfection on the main side, though, not too far behind either. Got 2 upgrade points there from his Hex Core. Almost has the perfect one completed. And a Death Cup moving into a casual Void stuff.
Yeah, so definitely getting going in the mid-game right now is Perfection. He is, once again, a huge shining light for his team. King has committed towards a really late-game Graves build, going for Phantom Dancer once again. And, you know, as a mid-game carry, that's a risk because you don't get that guaranteed static Shiv proc that you look for to really blow someone up. But the persistent damage is going to be huge. And Stealthix, oh,
King getting ganks. Rhymaster comes in. Gold card. Stands United trying to match it. King going to turn it around. Sharp gets cast away by Jubes. Rhymaster looking for another stun. Finds it. Gets it onto King. Takes him out with the wild cards. Well played, Rhymaster. Is looking for another stun. He gets it onto Sybil. He'll actually live now. Stealthix coming in with the heal as Jubes knocks Sybil up. But Perfection's down here as well. They know they can't fight Victor.
Yeah, so they do disengage successfully, but Rosie's going to get top lane turret, and what a fantastic little fight coming through for Sin. Good response from Sharp means he burns the ultimate, but in the end, 1 kill for nothing, definitely in their favor.
Yeah, that double teleport there from Shen, ulting to King to try and save his life, then porting back does save the turret for now. But Rosie starting to proxy as Sybil going to make his way to the top lane.
Yeah, so we'll see whether Rosie can stay safe here. He has been scouted out.
Getting tracked, needs to dodge the E. Doesn't do so, gets hit by the first taunt. Fishes out, actually saw Sybil, just trying to zone him away, but Sybil now going to keep chasing in, but it's just not enough.
Yeah, Rosie had the right idea there. Like, I know I can kill the Rek'Sai that isn't on much health. But Sharp, he's 20 CS up, 1-0 and 3. Once again, having a terrific game in the top lane, being able to impact multiple areas of the map.
Yeah, been looking good on the Shen so far, and Sin still a bit delayed in that power. Ryma said lit frame, but he's not been able to do that much with it. Rosie still working on the Trinity Force. Juves quite far behind actually here. Basically just a jungle item in a sight, so not even Boots 2 to compare. Sybil's actually gone Warrior.
Warrior into Black Cleaver seems to be the build through right now from Sybil, or maybe he's going for the Hex Drinker. A little bit more cost efficient, but once again, Rymeister trying to get the other lanes going, doing his best Perfection impression.
He is indeed, and actually finds Sharp, just walks up here, will eat the first taunt. Rosie trying to line things up, but doesn't have his ultimate. Rymeister will pop his though, needs to chase Sharp in, gets the gold card, just wants vision of everyone else. And they just don't have enough damage maybe. Sharp not going to eat those wild cards. Turret does go down. Smart stuff from Rosie. Going to keep still chasing. Rymeister gets the red card. Damage is there. Rosie cleans up the kill. And a long chase gives them one. But Rosie, now caught out of position. Still we're going to line up another knock-up. Does land it in. There's no help really for Rosie. Trashbot going to try and get him out safely. Does bounce away. And another good disengage from Sin.
Yeah, successful disengage after a pick. Once again, 15 seconds until Dragon. They can completely reset, try and get back. Although Rymeister trying to be cute, this is dangerous.
He's on a ward. He has to be careful. No summoners either. Sybil's tracked him. They want Perfection, but that might be the mistake. Because they'll just get some poke down, push the wave, and then again, rally back to that Dragon you have to
Yeah,
think.
but Nada going for a flank, as well as the fact that King is up here with a completed Phantom Dancer. They don't want to fight right now. Rosie's in base. They should have probably backed away. King now has the chance to go down and help Nada set up for this Dragon.
Going to chug out that minion wave in mid. We'll take it. We'll see the pink ward as well. Doesn't auto up, goes back, knows it's there, hits it away. And now going to set up for that Dragon, like you said.
Yeah, so Dragon now on the table. They've left Rymeister in the top lane. Not much mana coming through. He doesn't have his ultimate. Sharp does have his, so probably going to go across right now for their Dial.
Yep, have to assume this is an active decision for Sin to give up this Dragon. The Dials do get Dragon number 2 as a result.
Yeah, and wow, Perfection. This guy just keeps finding farm. He's 70 CS up. When I looked like 10 minutes ago, you guys can go back and check.
Rymeister, Trouble, Sharp, and Trashboat trying to 1v2, but he's pretty tanky as old Shen. Juves ultis back Perfection, and as a result, they give up the top lane chase.
Yeah, so at about the 12-minute mark in this game, Rymeister was up by 20 CS. So like it was fairly even around the mark. And I think that when Perfection bought, he got a really big wave. So, you know, he was slightly ahead. But right now, Perfection is just crushing minion waves.
He's like going full top lane mode. Just finding farms somewhere on the map.
Yeah.
I mean, that's certainly a Perfection specialty. Finding lots of CS. And on a champion like Victor, it suits. You've seen a lot of his Varus, Twisted Fate, these more aggressive champions, but he has shown with his Azir, especially with the Vlad, that he can play the scaling champs as well.
And you know, you sit there and you're like, it's CS, like, big deal. But right now, you look at the items coming through, 2 evolutions of the Hex Core. He's pretty much like an Abyssal Scepter. No, half an Abyssal Scepter. Sorry, I just saw that Rymeister only just bought, so he's got his death cap as well. So he's nearly half an Abyssal Scepter up.
An aggressive build from Rymeister, though. It's all assassination almost there from the TF, but without the zonies to get super deep into the backlands to initiate. But I like that you point out Perfection. I kind of look down at King as well, and it feels like we're back to split 1. 25.5 minutes in, that's 250 CS apiece.
Yeah, exactly right. So he is farming up an absolute storm there, and it actually is King with the huge advantage over there. It's 1,200 gold coming through. Rymeister's still fairly close. You know, Stack Death does a lot more than I give it credit for sometimes, that passive.
Those dice are loaded, remember,
Yeah.
Twisted Fate.
So he gets like 4 gold, I think, on average for every extra CS he picks up there. So, you know, if you balance that out, 180 creeps is definitely going to be a good thing.
Looks nice right now for Rymeister. He's actually in the top lane, doing a bit of the old split push action. Kind of makes sense. He can track Shen somewhat across the map, but can't travel him all the way to the bottom side, unfortunately.
Yeah, and that's why they've got Rosie with the teleport down there. He's definitely in range of finishing up that Trinity Force coming through, and has been playing a fairly good Fizz so far. Since catching Perfection out, seems to have got rolling in this game.
It has, and it's Sin again. Have sort of stifled some of the bleeding. Dial still up 2,000 gold, so that lead has shrunk a bit in the last few minutes from 3 or 4k from just earlier. And it's Sin who have the initiative now, pushing all 3 lanes.
Yeah, and you know, a lot of that is actually the fact that, you know, Rosie's still down in creep score, but he's been picking up jungle camps. You can never underestimate just how important that is for a top laner, because jungle camps are worth way more. Like, you know, you talk about missing a cannon creep, Gromp is like double that dude. So Rosie doing a great job of being able to continually farm up. You see he's level 15.
Yeah, nice and even in CS now, up against Sharp, so looking good there. Stealthix working on that Bloodthirster, wants the nice siege potential, wants to be very strong in the mid game and group together with his team. And Sin, not long away from really pressuring
might be
this
caught
game.
out.
Ooh, that's not good news. Pulls a blue card, forced to flash.
And Ghost.
And Ghost.
So you understand the distortions now?
Yep.
Making sure he's nice and safe.
I mean, especially if you're going to be pushing on Twisted Fate, do want to be nice and safe here, but the Dial still looking for the next opening. It feels like we've had a bit of a stalemate waiting between dragons, but Sin are only getting stronger. This next dragon fight will not be nearly as easy as the Dials might think it will be.
Yeah, exactly right. So they're going to continue to scale through. Last Whisper finished up for King is a big deal, you know. Brymeister pulls a gold card, might be able to take him by surprise and just blow his head off there with the Graves ultimate coming through. And they've hit some fairly good spikes themselves. They've actually got the Locket of the Iron Solari finished up by Sybil. So even though he went aggressive at the start of the game, has tempered that a little bit now with his latest pickup.
Has an extra longsword because, you know, wants to get something in there. But Rymeister going to get the blue. If I look, I think Sybil wants it. He goes in. Rymeister gets it though.
Yeah, so now they have good wave control coming through. Destiny pop.
Trinity Force up there as well. Rymeister going straight in. Who does he want? It's Perfection. Gets the stun over the wall. Stand United's not enough. He cleanses out, but he will die to Stealthix. Good pick from Sin.
Yeah, Rosie's here as well. Can they get a second one? They certainly are looking for it.
Might just push the mid lane instead. 5v4 Sin on a power play for this tier 2 in mid.
Yeah, they also have the advantage of being able to force them through that choke point. And now they can continue to try and siege down.
And again, I talked about Rymeister's build, very aggressive, but it will chunk out turrets at this rate.
Yeah, it certainly will. Wow, Death Cap second item, so not going for.
Oh, massive from Nada. Ulti though lands in for the fish. Rosie forced to dash out, but Rymeister kiting away, gets the gold card down, but Sharp is here, finds Juice with the taunt, but King gets exhausted. And Sin, another good disengage, but no tower.
Yeah, really good ultimate coming through from Juves there to just stop that in its tracks. They will be able to go back and shot before the dragon. Rosie needs to be careful.
Found King.
Although
Actually
so
go
King.
yeah, I don't know if King wants this, but he will go in. He's got friends. Nada misses the pulverize as he tricksters his way out. Stealthix now here. King flashes forward. Now he's going to go in onto Stealthix. Sharp gets the taunt. Unburrow. Classic King play.
Yeah, able to go super offensive there. Rosie just had to pull the trigger. One more auto attack. King is dead, but in the end, able to come up massive for his team, and that will secure Dragon number 3, you would think.
Just King things there on that play as the QSS. I don't know if it helped him there, but because of a BF sword now, so looking for Bloodthirster, the rich man's AD carry build.
Yeah, it certainly is. You know, he's just going for all the flat damage coming through there. Doesn't really have much armor on the side of Sin right now, so just ignoring that, looking to survive for a long time in these team fights.
Could also go Scimitar, but I like to think it's a Bloodthirster.
Yeah, I like to think it's a Bloodthirster as well.
Would make sense. Pretty good against the Fizz
Generally,
who's trying
the
to
only
eat you.
person you build Scimitar on is like someone like a Kalista that really benefits from the short movement speed burst that keeps you alive while you can continue to hop. Right now on Graves, his easiest way to stay alive is to kill whoever dies.
Yep. Use that passive, get some extra health, tank it up, and be a man and do exactly what he did just then to Rosie.
Yeah,
face check the Fizz and come out ahead.
They're taking Dragon right now.
Dragon's really dead.
I was
like,
going to say
really
there is
dead.
a potential for a Baron sneak to come through, but there is a good ward over the back of the pit. Going to spot that one out. So 3 Dragons to 1.
Yeah.
3,000 gold leads still over to Direwolves.
Good mobility as well between Rek'Sai and Shen. So a little tricky for Sin to go super aggressive and pull the trigger on the Baron.
Talking about super aggressive, Rosie going Blade of the Wrong King
I love it.
as his next item. So
My own build.
yep, just as much damage as he can physically put out is the aim of the game right now.
I mean, I assume he's going to go something like Frozen Heart afterwards, but right now he wants the damages. Rymeister, he's really trying to kill this Shen.
Yeah, he certainly is. And, you know, Sharp is so tanky right now, especially against magic damage. It's going to be a feat if he can manage to do so.
Even with Juves there, a little
He's
tricky.
got all magic damage, and he's got Spirit Visage Merc Treads into what can only be a Banshee's Veil next item.
Yeah. Oh, ultimate there, pop by Twisted Fate. They will pop in.
Oh, he
Fish
got
lands on
perfection.
Sand United going to force the flash. Sharp now going to go back in. Trashboat gets destroyed, and now Stealthix forced the Valkyrie out. Sybil going to chase him, but he's taking too much damage. Sharp wants to line up another taunt, but King, he's fighting Juice. Massive 5-man ult from Gragas, but Nada's popped Rymeister back in. They'll pop him off. They'll take him out with the ulti from Graves. 2 good kills there. 2 for 1, actually, as Nada does go down.
Yeah, Nada makes the huge play with the flank coming out. Wow.
Blocks the body slam there. Drew's going to die.
That's probably going to be Baron, honestly. They can tank that one up with Sharp. They have no smite available right now. So, oh no, Sybil's still up. So
yeah, Sybil's right there.
he doesn't have the smite,
Getting the Baron. That's awkward. We're going to have 2 smites, so they have to be careful. Perfection also can't tank too much damage.
Rosie hasn't got his smite either. I think he just burnt it.
Juice does have his, but he's dead, so that's not going to happen. Rosie actually being zoned off. Direwolves will finish this Baron, but that was a little risky.
Yeah, it certainly was. And you know, in the end, it's King picking it up. 5-2-2. The AD carry seems to really be rejuvenated in this game. Going to go back, probably finish up that BT because he picked up a few kills in that fight. And right now, Sin need to start stalling. 6,000 gold, the advantage for Direwolves. And their team comp only gets scarier.
Yeah, I mean, we've already seen Perfection. Graves really getting paid off, I feel like, for the late game build here as well. And you just look at the CS numbers here between Perfection and King. Those are absolutely absurd.
Yeah, they certainly are. And they've just been able to continue to push the little advantage they found. Credit to Nada that last team fight. You know, Fish landed on Perfection. Nada was able to zone away Rhymeister and then come through with the flank at the end of that exchange to really secure a solid team fight win. So all the members of Direwolves right now heading into playoffs, you know, trying to secure that 3rd spot. This game means just as much for them as it does the Sin Gaming lineup. Looking good.
And it's hard to remember. You kind of heard Rosie talk about it. They're on an emotional side. Playing 2 high-pressure games in a row is tough. Momentum very important here. The team that wins this gets to put their feet up and just relax for a little while. The other team, they have to play a tiebreaker.
Yeah, exactly right. So coming through here, pressure on Sin to how they close out this game. Win or lose, you find if they stay their aggressive selves, stay true to how they like to play League of Legends, you would think they would have a much better time going through. But Direwolves are just so unrelenting when they get a lead like this. We've seen it time and time again out of Perfection. He's just such a good player when he's ahead.
Yeah, 8,500 gold now. The Perfection's credit, he gets ahead a lot.
And Sharp, wow.
Forcing the teleport. Fish lands onto Nada. Good block. Tower going to go down. Sharp's just trying to finish it. Does get it. King will take out the turret. Stealthix, yeah, but he's got pulverized as well. Good disengage by Trashbro, but Sybil going to dive straight down and Dials break the base. They'll take the top inhibitor.
And all of a sudden, Rhymeister?
Oh my god.
He's trying to take a tier 2, although with Shen ulti as well as Sybil's ulti, they can put a stop to that pretty quick.
Sybil able to stop that here. In fact, Direwolves just going to go for a tower walk by. All right, Rhymeister still running away. Popped his ghost. Should be okay here.
Also has flash available.
Speed shrine.
So technically, they traded turret for a turret. Although they lost to an inhibitor.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's a trade.
It is. I mean, I think Rhymeister might have correctly identified that at this point, that's the best I'm going to get. Yeah. Well, couldn't do in the last fight. Dial was still knocking on that front door. They've broken the top half. The roof of the house has fallen off. Sin now working on working on the front door. Well, maybe going to attack the plumbing here in the bottom side.
Yeah, looking to see whether they can come up through the floorboards. As you see, King just so ridiculously huge at this part of the game. Level 16. He's the same as the solo laners coming through here, and there's just not the ultimates available right now for Sin to fight. They don't have the Monsoon out of Trash Boat. They don't have the Destiny to make sure that they know where everyone is from Rhymeister.
Bloodthirster down. Blade of the Ruin King still being worked on by Rosie. Sin have just fallen further and further behind, it feels, in this game. Bit by bit, the CS has just crept forward for Dials. And what was, you know, the 4-5k lead that Dials had carved out for themselves has become this massive deficit.
Yeah, exactly right. Wow,
King just going in. Drew's face checks. Gets chased down. Nada's not stopping. Smite goes down from Sybil. Rosie gets caught in there as well. Now King's going to dive in. Massive knock-off combo there as King's still chasing. Sharp with a good taunt. We'll finish off that second kill. Sin lose 2 for nothing.
Yeah, in the end, they just didn't even have Rhymeister there to really contest that fight. Super Creeps are already on their base turrets, and they're going to continue to push in. They actually didn't bring a creep wave with them, so Sharp needs to tank it.
Yep, well, Nada going to be the first pops his ulti for it, so that'll be a fine cooldown to use for the turret. Tornado that I think knocked up King, so delaying a bit of this. Those turrets are hardy, but Dials will break it. The floorboards have come loose.
Yeah, so in the end, they're able to get in there. Rhymeister now recognizes that he probably needs to back away, although continues to go. Dragon number 4 is the mission. Can Rhymeister get some counterplay here?
Oh god, Rhymeister still committing.
Their ulti.
Main global's down. Ramos has been collapsing tunnels, been like, yeah,
He's like,
can't come now.
Yeah, gosh.
Well, Dragon goes down. Ramos gives up the push on the on the inhibitor.
So right now, Sin have got 6 minutes of free fall. If Direwolves don't do anything, because, you know, both waves are going to push into their base, and Dragon number 5, probably the next meaningful objective that they want to really contest, but they're just a little bit too far away. Rosie isn't tanky because he went that aggressive build. He thought he was far enough to hedge to be able to get away with it, but the base was broken. The split push now ineffective out of Fizz. And you have to think that the Void Star coming through for Rymeister was maybe an item too late. You know, he just wasn't able to keep up with the farm. 130 CS right now for Perfection means that he is so strong.
How did Perfection get this much farm?
I don't know.
I don't understand.
As they go in on Sybil.
Oh, going in now as well. Sybil will get ulted there by Shen. Rosie now teaming up with Rymeister. They're kind of around well. The Ghost is good. Flash Gold Card's gonna get it after Wild Card. But Perfection, that ultimate does obscene damage. Rosie trapped as well. Will get stunned in the gravity field, and he just dies.
Yeah, so in the end, that
King's in the base. He's going for trash
goes
mode.
forward.
Presses out, gets a kill. Now on the stealthy King. Jukes the rocket, somehow lives. 2v3 King, gonna make it a triple.
And in the end, King, with the dancing shoes on, comes up with an absolutely monstrous play. That's going to win them the game. And Direwolves, once again, King and Knight are looking very promising.
Nice to see King wake back up. Good to have him back in the final day of the regular season for the OPL. The two carries for Direwolves put on an absolute show, and Sin fought hard to keep in that game. But they got overwhelmed by the power of King and Perfection.
Yeah, you know, you talk about the two real big threats of that lineup, and that was some fancy footwork coming through there. Able to dodge out of some clutch rockets, and wow.
Well, that was ridiculous. Let's get a bit more on that from Atlas and Rusty.
Thank you very much, Pastry Time. And Direwolves with a dominating performance towards the end there. Things were looking good for Sin early on, but not quite able to close that one out. And Direwolves really securing their spot there in third. And now our playoffs secured.
Yeah, very convincing win from Direwolves. It started off very well from Sin. They had the Twisted Fate to make things happen, but in the end, Direwolves did come out too strong. And as you mentioned, there's still a tiebreaker.
Yeah, most definitely. There is a tiebreaker now. Sin and Absolute have tied it up. We're going to bring the standings up onto your screen right now. We're going to see exactly where everyone has ended up. Of course, the Chiefs have secured that first place. 14-0 is definitely going to do that for you, but 10-4 is behind them there with Legacy. And 9-5 now for the Direwolves, securing that third place, are going to be playing against Legacy in the semi-final. Avant-Garde are standing strong there in the fourth position, but Absolute and Sin, they've got to fight it out for that fifth spot, that safety zone, to create that net for themselves getting into the next split of the OPL.
Yeah, that's right. We're going to find one more game tonight. Both teams needing that victory to avoid the relegations, just to, as you said, be in that safe spot. The losers will find themselves getting their team relegated and having to fight for their position in the pro leagues.
Yeah, but ladies and gentlemen, we do have to announce for you the semi-finals. They are going to be live here in this studio. You can see right behind us right now is going to be where these games are held. So all of the players going to be here battling it out against one another. But the Chiefs first going to take on Avant-Garde, of course, first versus fourth for our first semi-final matchup. Is going to be explosive because Avant actually gave it to the Chiefs quite a little bit in their last matchup. Of course, Chiefs managed to take it, but Avant looked strong. But our next semi-final, Legacy versus Direwolves.
Yeah, Legacy versus Direwolves, second and third. The semi-final rematch of the first split again. There is a lot on the line for both of those teams, and there's a lot of hype behind that game. That is on the 23rd.
Yeah, and this is going to be a rematch in the final of either, of course, Winter, back when Legacy were Avant-Garde Ascension against the Chiefs. That was a massive 5-game series. Or with the Direwolves trying to get some revenge against the Chiefs in the last OPL split final. There's multiple rematches here.
Yeah, that's right. There's a lot of possible rematches to come from 4 of the longest standing teams and organizations that have been a part of the Oceanic Pro League. So between all of these, I'm excited to see what's going to happen in the semifinals. As you mentioned, Avant, very capable of getting an upset against Chiefs. One of the only teams to really take it to them before we made it in the regular split.
Yeah, but there is going to be a break, ladies and gentlemen. So next week, not